Okay, welcome to Kids Paint Night. Tonight we are going to paint fall trees. It's a fall background. It's kind of like to look like it at night, which is why like the trees are all in black and everything. Okay, so first up, make sure your canvas is going this direction. I'm going to take a big flat brush, get it a little wet, and now I'm going to take yellow and I'm going to paint about 4 inches down the canvas. So just go back and forth all the way across the whole canvas, about 4 inches or so down the canvas. A little bit more. Okay, make sure you get your edges. Remember, don't paint it too heavy, okay? All right, now I'm going to rinse off my brush and I'm going to take just the red. I'm going to leave some water in there. I'm going to take just the red and I'm going to go about 2 inches below that. And I'm just going to paint red straight across. Don't paint it too thick, and then you're going to slowly work your way up to the yellow, and you're going to blend it in. You just want to blend it from one color to the next. I have a little too much red over here. Let's try to fix that a little bit. So you're trying to make it where you just blend from one color to the next. So you have red, you have an orangey, and then you have a yellow. Keep getting too much red on this side. You don't want a sharp line between one color to the next. You want it to just gradually go up. All right, so now while that's drying, take just yellow. And you're going to kind of do the same thing in reverse on the bottom. You're going to put about an inch or so, inch to 2 inches down at the bottom. Make sure you get your ends. Okay, same thing, go back and forth, side to side. Take a little bit of red. And you're going to do the same thing the other direction. Now I want this to get more orange-like. So I'm going to take more yellow. And I'm going to go back and forth with more yellow over it. bit lighter of an orangey color on the bottom than you did the top, because it's the reflection from the top that you're seeing. All right. Okay. So now, if I were you, I would let yours dry for a while. Some of this extra paint off. All right, now I am going to take a plastic cup and we're going to use it just for the bottom. So what I'm going to do is take white paint and I'm going to paint half of the cup, just like that, with the white paint, and then line it up and stamp it on. It's not going to show up real good unless your paint is more dry, which mine is not. But you can wait for yours to dry. So you can see it on there, which is where the sun setting is going to be. All right, we need our painting to dry a little bit. Try to get mine to dry a smidgen here. And then you can see where the outline is. That'll get you a better circle that way. Turn this so I can reach it a little better. Still too wet on mine. So make sure before you do this, yours is nice and dry, because mine is very, very wet. But when it is all dry, you're going to paint in half of it so it looks like the sunset. Because that's what you're looking for, is half the sun showing, or about half the sun. Doesn't have to be exact, but you want the sun to be showing only partially through it. Okay, so now I'm going to take black paint. Make sure yours is all dry before you go on. And we're going to make a straight line across. Let me show you on this one. I'm going to make this straight line right here. Okay, it's very hard to make straight lines. If you would rather use a ruler, you can do that. Just make sure you wipe all your paint off afterward. I'm going to go about right there. Go right where your sun ends. Go by where your sun is. I'm going to fill mine in a little bit more after I draw the line, because I'm going to have it a little lower. It should be a little off center. It should be partially down the canvas, not right smack in the middle. Things look better if they're not quite centered. So go ahead and make your black line for the horizon, and then I can go back and fill in a little bit more white. That keeps turning red, but that's all right. Like I said, just make sure yours is dry before you do this part. All right. Now we're going to take the black also, and we're going to make these squiggly lines on the side, which is where the end of the water is. And you don't want it perfectly straight because the sides of the water are not going to be exactly straight. Start from where your line is, even though you're going to cover part of that up, and just kind of make a in and out line. It's kind of like that. Just blowing on it for a few moments. Okay. When yours is dry, and your background is all dry, I'm going to take a flat brush and I'm going to take the black, and you're going to paint all of the ground in below your horizon line. Like I said, wait till yours is dry because mine is going to blend in and it's going to get some red in it. But you can obviously wait. You can kind of fix your lines a little bit if you want to change them a little bit too. And then just cover these sides in the black. See, my paint is way too wet. That color is getting mixed in, so make sure yours is dry and yours won't do that, okay? All right. So do the same thing on the other side. Just paint the whole background black from the horizon line down. And this part, it doesn't matter if you paint it kind of heavy because you're not going to do anything else with it again. Not that you want to paint it big and globby. And also, if you can still see through your black, and if your orange and yellow and red and stuff are still showing through your black, you can always go back when you're done and add another layer of black right over it, so it'll look more finished. Okay, so just do that in the black. Oops, do that a little bit. All right, now we're gonna have a little bit right under here. So add a little bit of black. Don't make it like too smooth across. Okay. And that's your water line. It's too curvy. Rounded curvy, I like it better, a little more jagged. Okay, so now when you're done with that, you're going to paint your trees. So I'm going to take a bigger, rounder brush, and I have 3 trees on each side. So remember, it's got to be wider at the bottom, and then it gets skinnier as you go up. You can make as many branches as you want. start with the one closest. I'm going to make 3 bigger branches coming out from there. I'm going to make a few smaller branches. I think just like that. This one I'm going to make a little smaller. And your trees might crisscross one another. All right, made that one smaller. I'm going to put this one here. Run them off the edge a little bit. All right, now the other side. Actually, I'm going to turn it around just so I stop bleeding my arm into the black paint. I'm going to do it upside down. Another one. And then the last one. You make them bigger, you could make less. If you make them smaller, you can make more. It's up to you. Like I said, you're going to probably crisscross in some of the places, which is fine. so when you're all done with your trees, actually I'm going to leave it this way so I could reach it better. When you're all done with your trees, make sure you let it dry. I'm going to turn it around and do another part. Okay. You also need a little skinny brush because there's little blades of grass. See the little grass sticking up? So take your skinniest brush you have and just make some little green grass sticking up. Depending on what kind of brush you have, on how small they can be. Try not to make them too gigantic like that one. You can also put them more like in a cluster to make it look like a little thing of a plant, not just grass, but just have them stick up. Obviously they won't show in front of the trees, but they will show in front of the moon, so don't forget to put some in there, and hopefully you won't get white in it like I just did. Remember, always wait till your colors are dry. All right. So now, if your water right in this area, that's supposed to be the water, if that is dry, what you're going to do is you're going to take some white and you're going to make these little lines. That's supposed to look like the reflection of the sun going down in the water there. So just kind of make some little short dashed lines. Just try to make them not too gigantic, but you want it to look like the moon is reflecting down. Do better on an angle. Try to use a skinny brush for it. And it should be wider, closer, and then get a little more narrow as you get away from it. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it back around. And the last step to do is going to be the leaves. Make sure I got it all. Now make sure that your trees are nice and dry before you go on to the last step of the leaves. Otherwise you're going to have a big mess like I'm going to probably have. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take solid red with like a roundish brush, and you're just going to dab it all around the top part. Kind of leave it a little bit more open in here. You don't want it like too close to the sun. You just want this part right above the sun, a little bit more empty. But just all you have to do is just keep switching which direction your brush is. Just take the red and just fill it up like that. Just go all over the whole canvas. Up on the top. See, it looks better if you change the direction of your brush so you don't have all of your leaves going the same direction. Make sure you go on top of your branches some. And kind of fill it in a lot more so up higher. So up near the top of the canvas is where you want a lot of the leaves. Now I'm getting black in mine because obviously I didn't wait till they were dry, my trees. So make sure yours are, so you don't end up with the black dabbed all over as well. To show you exactly how to do it. So that's all you do is just keep filling in the top with your leaves. Like I said, change the direction of your brush so they're not all going the same way. Make some a little further down. Try to cover up the ends of your branches. You still want your branches to show, but it kind of looks better if you don't see like where they just like stop. And then don't forget to put some down further on the trunk. As you can see, my leaves are getting bigger as I'm doing this because I'm in a hurry to finish it up, so you guys don't have a really long video here. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do for now. All right, so like I said, just fill up the whole top of your trees like that. Do them all different directions. Some are a little bigger, some are a little smaller, but just kind of randomly all over the top. And like I said, make sure you do it when yours is dry, your trees are all dry. Then when you're done with that part, if you want to go back and see any spots you might have missed down here with the black where you have too much of the underneath color showing through, you could go ahead and cover it again with some more black if you want. Otherwise, you are all done. Don't forget to put your initials on it. And next week we are painting a koala bear, and we are all done. Thanks for coming.